Level 2.0. No, welcome back to Fallstreak. Synopsis here is that a little bit ago, these kids we're all dicking around, just a bunch of dicks, you know. And that's a baby Kalia and a baby Triss, and Alouette is about as old as these two over here. Um, so that's got to be like seven-ish, eight-ish. I don't know. What is age in this game? With the kids out of commission, a moment of peace and quiet finally descends upon the house. Geez, you sure have a lot of energy, don't I? Altoon fans his face as he settles back into his seat at the dining room table. Even when playing, one must give their all. What did I give Idone as an accent? I mean, that name sounds kind of Italian. Idone. So, like, I don't know, maybe like, work hard, play harder. Yeah, your husband knows no chill, Mallory. Oh, that's cool. People in ancient medieval fantasyland talk like they're from 2014, huh? The children really enjoyed the piggyback rides we gave. Though I bet they would have liked it if Amie pitched in more. Amie? Amie! Ryan, I know you read a little fast, but you don't have to mispronounce things now. Don't talk to me right now. I don't understand how children have so much energy. I think it's really admirable, though, Idone. Even though your blood does not run through Alouette, you treat her as your own. She's blessed to have such a wholehearted father. While I appreciate your words, Atun, you are mistaken about something. It was not I who accepted Alouette when I had nothing left in the world. It was she who accepted me. Idone brings his hand to his chest in heartfelt sincerity. Alouette, Mallory, and Amine. It is because of your strength and compassion that I still draw breath here and now. And while Alouette may speak oddly and seem dull at times, she has the biggest heart of any girl in the world. Okay, so even her dad is saying it, or her father figure is like, yeah, my child's a little... Okay, so see, this is like my thing. This is what I was wondering at the beginning of the game. Is Alouette just like traumatized, or does she have like a learning disability, we'll say? It is that I am blessed to have such a wonderful daughter. The four of us watch warmly over the children's sleeping visages. Alouette's always been an affectionate girl. All the little ones were huddled up against her as they slept. It seemed her head pats were quite popular. You'd never know by how she acts, but the poor child's had it rough at school. Since she speaks so childishly, she often gets teased. Yeah, okay, boom. Right? God, this game is like 100%. This game reminds me so much of Doki Doki LC, right? Because it's about a huge theme in this game, a huge undercurrent and subplot is like the kids having, and like the adults too, having like this undercurrent of an undiagnosed like learning disability or mental illness that the society of the time is just not ready for yet, I guess, to like, it doesn't have the infrastructure to really deal with it, so everybody kind of shrugs it off. Lynette and Dia are good siblings, though. They always stand up for her like little champs. It was somewhat amusing how differently they all slept. While Kalia and Triss snoozed with spread limbs and open mouths, Lynette and Dia seemed fond of curling into cozy little balls. Then there was Alouette, who slept with her arms wrapped around everyone as if cradling something precious. There is no mistake. If there's something in life worth protecting, it's this. Have I told you, by the way? We're hoping to get a bigger house for ourselves soon. The children are growing bigger so quickly after all. They'll need the space. Is that why you've been working yourself like a mule? Ah, it's been my dream for a while. We've already saved up quite a bit. Is that so? In that case, why don't you contract my place when the time comes? I'll be sure to put lots of love into it. Atun extends a hand with a big smile. Sounds like a plan. Returning the smile, Idone grasps his hand firmly. Let's look forward to the future together, not as two different families, but as one big family. It was a warm sentiment where both parties dreamed of a bright future, dripping, overflowing with promise. But for some reason I couldn't bear to look at it. the future they spoke of. It was simply too bright, too dazzling. It was blinding! Okay, so a bit of an interruption, bit of an intermission here. I just want to say, this game, despite how obviously, like, wicked it can get, is so pretty. Oh my god. There's just so much love and effort was put into this. So much time and effort, you know, was put into this. There's a huge, crazy, dynamic story of innocence clashing with, like, you know, absolute brutality. And then there's just beautiful backdrops everywhere. Oh my god. Amy, remember the garden we used to have back at the orphanage? How we had little parcels of land to care for? The image of a young Mallory singing as she watered her crops revives in my mind at her urging. Remember how you could never make yours blossom? Soil quality, water management, and sun exposure. Though I had meticulously accounted for all of those factors, my parcel only ever met middling success. Living things need more than just nourishment to live. Suddenly, the cat recoils and darts off into the night. Oh shit! There was a cat there. Don't mind that. I don't understand. It's peaceful, so very peaceful. Yet for some reason, that scares me. I'm happy, but I'm scared. I'm satisfied with so little, but at the same time, I want more. I want these peaceful days to keep going on. It's the same for me. These hands of mine are holding it, the soft warmth that is this peacefulness. Yet I don't know what to do with it. It was something new to us. In our struggle to survive day to day, we had only been able to look at what was right in front of us. For much of our lives, that was the only way we knew how to live. But that's no longer the case. Human beings are frighteningly adaptable creatures. Yeah, except for the part where, you know, you have, like, you know, lifelong trauma that makes you go crazy for the rest of your life. And that's literally the theme of this game, and especially for what's her name? Amane. There are times when we adapt so well it dissociates us, confounds us. It's strange. I can't stop trembling. I watch on as Mallory lowers her head and hugs her knees. I never imagined happiness would feel this fragile. I'm so terrified of losing it, just the mere thought paralyzes me. PTSD! Well, I suppose we know why the cat ran away, Miss Sunshine. Mallory goes silent. Then, without warning, she begins to laugh. A mirthful laugh, bleeding away the anxiety. That's the second joke I've ever heard you make. I never knew how much I needed a wisecracking Amy in my life. Oh, you're so cute. She hops over to me and begins squeezing my cheeks. Not again. Hey, Amy? What? What is it now? Thanks for cheering me up. Leaning in close, she Leaning in close, she kisses me on the cheek. You're not welcome. Are you blushing? I think you're blushing. My god, it's like the main character here in this part of the VN is like a tsundere, only a serial killer. So like not a yandere. So like worse. Oh my god! Thank you for coming today, Mrs. Lorette. I know it'll be a while until Kalia and Tristan leave daycare and formally enter preschool, but there's a lot of logistical things with the new education system that I'd like to get out of the way. It's fine, Tris seems to be enjoying himself anyways. The young schoolteacher looks back into the classroom where Tris was timidly playing with the other children. Did you bring his sister with you, by the way? My husband was supposed to bring her. Knowing him, though, he's probably conveniently lost. He's not very fond of paperwork. I'm not sure I know anyone who is. I'm sure Kalia is just as cute as Tristan, though. I look forward to teaching them. The woman's earnest smile makes me falter. I wasn't good at dealing with people that could be so open-hearted with someone they'd just met. Somehow I understood, though. This woman would be a fine person to leave my little ones with. However, when I open my mouth to voice something to that effect, something cuts me off. For a split second, the world goes deathly quiet. Oh my god! New Taco Bell Gordita Crunch Supreme coming to a Taco Bell! Well, just kidding, no Taco Bell, everyone's dead! Blinking several times, I confirm my vision is still functioning. Pinned to the ground beneath a mountain of flaming debris, the young schoolteacher groans. There was something odd about the fire. The way it shifted was nauseating. The children! Smoke and panicked voices were leaking from the classroom Triss was in. Shaking off my disorientation, I grab the doorknob and try to force it open, but it doesn't budge. Even when I step back and throw my entire body weight against it, I make no headway. The door was too badly mangled. 2 doors down. Storeroom. Ah! A fountain of blood spills from her mouth. There's an axe! The unusual fire spread under her legs, but she doesn't seem to notice, as the flames etch bizarre patterns into her exposed flesh. This is the thing. So, we never find out what caused this at the end of the game, but dog, like, someone just fucking hates Sokatrin. Like, this is such an unnatural, like, spell-placed fire, right? Like, it's clear. This is some fucking magic shit, dude. Someone's trying to fuck the kingdom up. Or maybe that's just what I'm supposed to think, because I'm a dirty human who scapegoats people. Blah. Her spine must have been utterly crushed if she couldn't feel it. 2 doors down. Heeding her instructions, I dashed down the hallway and barged into the storm room. From each of the classrooms I pass, a certain type of voice that splattered my past was leaking. It was a type of voice I was woefully familiar with. That of human anguish. Clamping down on myself, I kill my thoughts. Right now, Triss's safety was my priority. I didn't need to think about anything else. Snatching an emergency axe up from the corner, I race back to the classroom. Hurry! Even as her own life bleeds away, the trapped woman urges me. Aiming slightly offset of the doorknob, I bring down the axe. The door splits under the impact. I drive my heel into it, causing it to give and separate from its frame at last. Masking my face with my handkerchief, I lower myself into a crawl and enter the smoking room. Several small corpses were spread along the floor near the door, having perished from asphyxiation. Triss, where are you? My muffled shout rings out amidst the din of fire. Braving the searing heat, I push deeper into the room even as the lack of oxygen and smoke press down on me. A series of barely audible thuds. I pivot to find a little figure lying on the ground. Triss! His leg was trapped under a wooden beam. Rushing over to him, I position the neck of the axe beneath the debris and pry it up so he can pull free. Though he tries to stand, I immediately press the handkerchief to his face and push him low to the ground as I lead him out. Him getting stuck was a stroke of luck. His peers had likely suffocated trying to escape the smoke, while his entrapment forced him to stay immobilized and low to the ground. Though he was limping slightly, it was minor compared to how he could have ended up. Upon exiting the classroom, I find the injured schoolteacher looking up at me. Her eyes focus weakly on me, but it didn't seem like she had the strength to say anything. Down the hallway, the sound of crashing rings out as the burning ceiling begins to collapse. There was no time. She couldn't be saved. When I look up, an unbelievable sight greets me. Though it was midday, the entire sky had darkened over. An unending din of screams and groans fills the air as patches of the unusual fire sweep through town. What was going on? What was this fire that had suddenly descended from the sky? They were questions that would have to wait. Leading Triss to a spot of relative safety, I kneeled down and examined his body. His skin was marred in soot, but he didn't appear to be burned anywhere. He had been lucky to escape unscathed. Triss. But while his body was fine, there was still cause for concern. No answer, no response. Silently, he stares off into space as tears roll down his face. It'll be all right, Triss. I wipe the tears and ash away with my handkerchief before procuring a sash from my person. Using it to tie Triss to my back, I stand and set off for home. Along the way, I see many things. A man cursing as he tossed bucket after bucket onto a blazing house. A child crying out for help, unheard by the marked that limped aimlessly through the streets. A fire that could not be extinguished, a fire that could not be slowed. At some point it even begins to rain, but the downpour does nothing to stymie the flames' advance. A world turned upside down. A people ravaged by calamity. It was something I did not want to show Triss, something I did not wish for him to see. Triss. Though the rain falling down from overhead is cold, every now and then I can feel it. A faintly warm raindrop hitting the back of my neck. When we make it back home, I find our house untouched by fire. Kalia? Atun? No answer comes. They didn't seem to be home. Though their safety was a concern, searching for them blindly won't accomplish anything. Staying put was the best course of action. I mean, how blindly could it really be? You know your town, right? Placing a pot under the faucet, I begin stockpiling water. While the plumbing still seemed functional for now, there was no guarantee that it'd continue to be the case. Just as I begin taking inventory, the sound of the door being knocked open erupts from the front of the house. I should have recognized who they were immediately, but their appearance was somehow wrong. Atun? I rush to his side as he collapses to the ground, an unmoving Kalia cradled in his arms. His hands were blackened with strange marks from the mysterious flame, while Kalia's hands... I... were simply no longer there.